All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. We ended the week by starting off the month, and now this week we fully get into March, and we have a bunch of events that can make the stock market go higher. Even over the weekend, there was price target raises from analysts out of Bank of America. We heard a little bit of that last week. We ended the week with bad data that gave a bid to the bonds, but ultimately led the market to hitting another all-time high, another week in a row of green, and it's all off the backs of AI, better earnings, soft landing, no landing, and now March is usually good, so let's see what we get into. But Chad, I got a breakdown for you. We have a bunch of things we got to talk about. I got a couple of fun facts, a couple of plays, and then a little bit of the breakdown as far as the events for this week. What I need from you, a thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed, and if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open, youtube.com/TheStockMarket. We will see you there in the morning. Run it, baby.
Working to the couch, it's the 2020 election. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a live, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then it feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it.
But right off the bat, before we get into anything, let's see how the market is done so far this year. Right now, we have crypto up 38.5%. Oil is up 9.2%. Stocks are up 5%. Commodities are up 3.7%. The dollar is up 2.8%. And high-yield bonds are up 0.4%, while gold was negative all the way up until Friday. So pretty interesting so far. There's a couple of other fun facts that I want to start off the month with. Number one, don't forget how we just ended the month. Crypto went absolutely insane, and this chart is showing you the inflows into crypto funds, and it is absolutely massive. $45 billion so far year to date. This trumps anything we have seen in crypto inflows ever. So we'll see if that picks up throughout March, even this week. Keep your eyes out for that. And another theme we're going to try to watch out for March is, do we keep getting led by a couple of stocks? Right now, large growth is outperforming small growth by 31 percentage points. That's the most since about 1999. We saw a little bit of that in 2001, but it's the same thing there for small cap value as well. So we'll find out here in March if this trend continues. And if you don't know so far, this is going to be a major theme with everything when we get into the keys. But the big thing here in March is going to be the summary of economic projections. So keep all that in mind, but we are starting the new month. We are now going to start getting our final sets of data, and what I mean by that is that this is now a jobs report this Friday. You're even going to get another CPI, and this is going to be the data that is right before Jerome Powell and the SEP. So this is going to be a big deal, and even this week we actually have a lot of events. So you get the jobs report on Tuesday. That is the JOLTS jobs openings. That is important, but not the most important. But Friday, the non-farms, that will be the most important. And remember, the last non-farms was a major surprise. So watch out for that. But then on top of the economic data, we are also going to be hearing from Powell on Wednesday and Thursday. And this is going to be before Congress. And like I'm saying here, it shouldn't be too big unless he wants to drop a bomb. It's not as if Powell hasn't done it before. He's got up before Congress and kind of slipped in a little bit of guidance. Now, as of late, Powell hasn't really been doing that, but unless we get any of that, it's not like this Powell should be a big deal. But of course, the markets are going to listen and they are going to feed off of everything he has to say. So that's going to be the big thing this week. All about the jobs, all about Powell. There is going to be some data overseas, a couple of conferences, and I guess I'll have to kind of go here to the bottom. There is a lot of politics this week. You have the State of the Union by Joe Biden, and then you are also going to have Super Tuesday. The most amount of primary elections in the United States are a third of them, so that's going to be a big deal. And pretty much, like I'm saying, for this whole week, even up until the summary of economic projections around March 20th, it is still all about policy shift and politics. And lately, we've been talking about that golden path. These are the main market drivers and probably are going to drive us until the end of the year. So keep that in mind. There's also going to be retail earnings this week. It could add a little bit into the mix, but for the most part, we should be wrapping up earnings, and maybe the market kind of calms down in a way where it's not driven so much by catalysts. But then again, by the time we wrap up earnings, you're going to start getting data, and that data might have the ability to move us. But I can't stress it enough for the third time that SEP is probably going to be the biggest thing so far for the month. So get ready for Powell there, even a little Powell this week. But now let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, I do have a couple of plays, and we will be talking about earnings this week. Like I said, there's a couple of those retail sales, and then last week we also had 1,000%er. Those end taps, we bought them for 60 cents, and we sold them out there for $950. So even though the week before that we didn't get 1,000%er, we were able to get another one last week. So we'll be on the lookout. But like I'm saying, or as I have been saying, I have been winding down even NTAP. That was the only play that I made on Friday. So we went 1 for 1 and it paid off. So keep that in mind, but be very careful with these earnings, and that's why I'm going to start here with Target. They are going to be a big one this week. A lot of people have been eyeing it. I even know a lot of people have been talking about going early, way ahead of this, given there was a lot of the earnings hype so far, but I think the pre or the post earnings are going to be good. I think the options have moved a little bit ahead of the event, but they're going to be on Tuesday morning, so we will get to see how it plays out tomorrow. But even if there isn't a pre-play, depending on how they report, they can move big. And another thing, I think their ex-dividend is usually right before their earnings. We have played that with shares, so watch out for Target. We're definitely going to go over this, and again, around 11 a.m. Pacific time on stream, we will be going over all those earnings previews, so watch out for that. That is play number 1. Then play number 2, Airbnb. So this one held up very good. It was closed around 160, and anything above there, I think it'll start to get very interesting. But the thing about it, there's not really that many catalysts for Airbnb right now, and the only thing that really stood out about it last week is that Booking sold off after earnings. Expedia sold off, kind of recovered, but was overall trading lower. Still held up some of their recent gains, but Airbnb, they have been the outperformer in travel, so they're getting above a pretty big level historically there with 160. They've been growing into their valuation a little bit, and take a look around at stocks like Nvidia. People have been decently favoring or ignoring crazy valuations, to say the least, but watch out for Airbnb this week. I will look for a flip. I'm not going to force it. These contracts usually go crazy. Remember about 2 weeks ago, we made some of those free after earnings. Well, one of those expired worthless. Thank God we made it free, but I will look for a play like that depending on how they move. But 160, big level with momentum, and I want to see, just depending on how this week plays out, the data, the jobs, as well as Powell, how does Airbnb stand as far as an outperformer? That will be the key highlight we're watching for. So that is play number 2. And then finally, play number 3. Let's go to value and hype land. So Pfizer, I'll start there. They've been getting clapped there, approaching one of their lows again, but they're going to be speaking tomorrow pre-market at the TD Cowen Healthcare Conference. So hopefully they just say something about Ozempic, but we'll see what they bring up there. There is going to be a lot of other healthcare companies speaking, so watch out for that. As far as Monday and even throughout the week, we will have a catalyst there. And then biotechs, last week, there was a ton of random runners there, so some got clapped, some did good, but even to end the quarter, to start off a new month, we should be getting a lot of biotechs. And as long as the risk sentiment and spreads are tightening, as far as even bonds are concerned, and even high risk stuff in that sense, those biotechs have been benefiting off of that. So watch out for that. That is going to be play 3. There's going to be a lot of catalysts there. And as far as everything else, I don't think I have anything too crazy. We had a couple of plays expiring. NEM, I could have had money money on that ended up expiring worthless. Couple of old earnings plays. I did sell out of those Netflixes. Got those last week. It was good timing. They went up 100%, but Netflix kept ripping, and I did not like how the contracts were not going up. We were pretty far at the money, and then we were only going to have a week of time, so got out with 100%. Same thing with CRM, but I am really down to double dip with the CRM, and pretty much I think these contracts, we got good timing. If there is any sort of pullback, these will be great to double dip on, so watch out for that. Maybe even come back to an NTAP. We'll see how that plays out. There was a couple of biotechs like Bivy and what was the other one? Bivy. This one was like a Parkinson's drug, I believe. They had good data, and there was like one more biotech on Friday that ended up doing good, but we'll see how it all plays out. Oh, I'm still in those Vannies. I'm riding that one. They did a share offering higher than where they're trading at, but going to ride that one out for a little bit. We'll see if we get even some of that Ozempic trend because that did take over last week as well. But besides that, riding out a bottom play, maybe looking to exit that this week. Otherwise, see where Data and Powell takes us, see where March goes, and I hope your head is in the game, Chad. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate healthy, ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. And I need you to remember, every day is going to reveal something about you, your destiny, where you should be and where you're going. So make sure you take something out of every day and be open to a little revelation. But Chad, hopefully you had a good weekend. I hope you got some rest, drink that water, get some good sleep. I'll see you in the morning and Horna.